The People's Champion returns.
Finally! The Rock! There's a new #1 man around here, Rock. Me!
Now a challenge is
See, one-on-one! Well, The Rock officially says, just bring it!
and the Brahma Bull laid the smackdown on the Olympic hero in his first match back.
Countdown is on!
Don't miss SmackDown this Thursday at 8, 7 Central, only on UPN.
3 days after the shocking Eric Bischoff debut on Raw, with him set to make his SmackDown debut tonight to meet Rock on a loaded show set to be headlined by Rock vs. Kurt Angle in Rock's first match back in over 3 months, along with Vince McMahon's announcement of the new SmackDown General Manager. After all the comments all over the industry on the previously unthinkable Bischoff-McMahon partnership, Eric did his first major interview as a WWE performer on the Bite This internet show, with him also set to be the cover story on Confidential, with back-and-forth shoot interviews of McMahon and Bischoff set to be edited in time for Saturday night, saying that Monday's debut was a surreal moment, with the company doing a great job in keeping it a secret, including sending him his Raw promo script under the hotel room door with no interaction with anyone in the office, with him only getting out of the limousine in the building in New Jersey 10 minutes before his backstage TV segment with Booker, noting that he wished he had a camera to film the shocked faces of some of the wrestlers backstage, while saying that his biggest accomplishment in the business was revolutionize the way Vince and wrestling television in general was being done to the weekly major event it became in recent years. Asked about the recent Steve Austin situation after having similar issues with Austin that led to Eric firing him in 1994, saying that he doesn't know enough about the current situation to comment, including him revealing new details on the end of Austin's WCW run, saying that Austin was difficult to work with after he pushed to be Hulk Hogan's tag partner as his on-screen cousin when Hogan signed in '94, which ended up not happening as Hogan was already booked to have a long-term main event program with Ric Flair. With Bischoff minutes after arriving to make his first SmackDown appearance meeting Hulk Hogan for the first time on WWF television, in another surreal moment of seeing the two major drivers in the WCW's rivalry against the WWF during the peak of the competition years, now both appearing together as contractual performers on McMahon's television. After opening with the second Chris Jericho vs. John Cena match in the first quarter, with them set for the third on the pay-per-view Sunday, along with Chavo Guerrero challenging the debuting Rey Mysterio for his first ever televised WWE match next Thursday, SmackDown, after opening at the recent average range with 4.3 million viewers over the first 30 minutes, picking up over 700,000 viewers to enter the 5 million viewers range over the next 20 minutes, first with a Taker interview hyping the Vengeance pay-per-view headliner against Rock and Angle on Sunday, recapping his title run up to this point during a chaotic time in the company, with him defending the title on both brands on almost a weekly basis, saying that since winning the title he worked against whoever stepped up in any type of match they wanted, with Sunday's three-way for the title against Angle and Rock said to be the biggest match of the run, with SmackDown after another tag match of Billy and Chuck against Holly and Val closing the first hour with a six-man tag, with Hogan coming out to a massive ovation at 8:51 p.m. along with Edge and Rikishi for the match against the three members of the Canadian group. The Hogan, Edge and Rikishi vs. Test Storm and Christian six-man tag match crossed over the top of the hour to go 5 minutes, with Edge after originally being set to face Chris Jericho on Sunday, with the Vengeance match instead being changed to Hogan and Edge defending the tag belts against Christian and Storm, with the Edge vs. Jericho match in the feud's payoff instead booked for SmackDown next week, getting the pinfall on Storm for the finish, followed by the promoted first ever Rock and Eric Bischoff on-screen meeting, with Eric announcing that he's coming to SmackDown to recruit Rock to close the show on Monday, with Bischoff asking Rock to appear on Raw next Monday, hyping the scenario of Rock and Eric working on the same show for the first time to take the brand to the next level, with Rock announcing that he's gonna be on Raw on Monday not due to signing with Bischoff but because of him winning the title at Vengeance. closing the segment with Eric bringing up the scenario of Rock jumping to WCW to lead Nitro 2 years ago to turn things around to set up Rock's shot of him being on top in the WWF at the same time to help drive WCW out of business, with the loaded top of the hour quarter, which immediately after the Rock Bischoff meeting saw the other hyped segment of the night with Vince McMahon announcing Stephanie as the new SmackDown General Manager, jumping big to over 6.5 million viewers and a huge spike over the first hour viewership, with the second hour overall driven by the Rock vs. Angle main event along with the McMahon General Manager announcement and Bischoff-Rock confrontation, seeing one of the biggest hour-to-hour viewership spikes of the year, with SmackDown after averaging a 2.9 rating with 4.6 million viewers between 8 to 9 p.m. picking up to a 4 rating with over 6.4 million viewers over the next hour, and the biggest hourly gain on WWE programming in 2002. With the almost unprecedented spike of over 1.8 million viewers only matched by the company's viewership jumps during the peak of the boom period to signal on the boosted interest on the night in the Angle Rock main event and the Bischoff-Vince follow-up to Monday, and with Stephanie returning again in a prominent role after major backlash a few months back saw her being written off television. Vince Russo, who last night worked his first ever TNA show as the company's head writer and initially pitched the idea of Bischoff coming in as an on-screen authority figure to feud with McMahon, with each one leading his own brand, made sure to clarify that while the Eric signing was initially his idea, he never planned or suggested Stephanie having any role in the angle, with Mick Foley one of the names originally brought up, with Jeremy Balrash in his weekly TNA version of the J.R. Ross Report saying that Russo has been making it clear to anyone who will listen that the idea for the GM of the UPN show was definitely not his. SmackDown's final half-hour started with a commercial-heavy quarter with over 8 minutes out of the 15 taken by the two breaks to set up the Rock vs. Angle match going uninterrupted in the main event, while in the middle running down the Vengeance card for Sunday, targeted to be one of the biggest B pay-per-views of the year, with Rock after the recent unusual schedule since going on the Scorpion King promotional tour in April, which saw him working more house show matches than televised ones in the past 3 months, making his in-ring TV return in his first match back since headlining the first SmackDown of the brand extension era against Jericho on April 4, kicking off the match at 9:44 p.m. with Rock and Angle after showing instant chemistry since their first match against each other in late '99, with some of the most memorable and biggest drawing matches in history over the past 3 years, delivering strong again in every aspect in their final singles match to see it jumping big in the final quarter to over 7.4 million viewers in the most watched segment on WWF television since the initial curiosity in the first week after the Draft Draw show on March 25, including huge spikes in the major markets not seen in months, with the Rock vs. Angle main event going 12 minutes in the final quarter, seeing SmackDown's biggest viewership areas in New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta and Houston jumping almost 2 rating points over the show's average during the match to draw between 6 to 9 ratings in the local channels, driving SmackDown despite the overall number being taken down by the slow start during the first hour to a 3.4 rating with over 5.5 million viewers in its highest rated and most watched broadcast in over a month, closing the build-up to the Vengeance pay-per-view, in addition to Triple H being shown driving off in Eric Bischoff's limousine to tease him recruiting Hunter to Raw, with Angle laying out Taker and Rock to continue his streak after Hogan and Taker by also making Rock tap to the ankle lock to build him up as the possible winner on Sunday, with the company after the show long Taker vs. Lesnar Angle on Raw on Monday hinting at all three possibly winning the title to face Lesnar at SummerSlam.
WWE Vengeance, presented by Subway, live in 3 days on pay-per-view.